That's a ticket. Thanks for those of you who are coming in on your off hours. Thank you for being here, and it's a pleasure. Somebody asked me, had I been to KNTV before, and the answer is yes, but it was a different building, another side of town, and I was about this close to becoming the anchor here, which is a little story we're referring to. In 2000, I was demoted in my job in Chicago, and I was looking for work, and things weren't looking up for me, and then suddenly out of nowhere this opportunity came to anchor. I've told Raj the story, by the way. I said, you almost got, I almost beat you up. Yeah, I was about to come here, and it was all virtually signed, sealed, delivered. Then MSNBC made me an offer, and I thought, well, let me try that, and this is kind of where it led, so I'm back here. It's a long road to get back here, but it's great to be back in the Bay Area. As most of you know, I was born in this area. I was mainly raised, I was an Air Force kid, but mainly raised in Sacramento. I used to work at KCBS News Radio 74 back in the late 70s and the early 80s. So this is God's country. This is where I like to be. My folks are still in Sacramento. I also have a place in the Los Angeles area, which is why you may have noticed you're seeing more of me on the West Coast now. It's kind of a win-win. Before any of this bizarre stuff happened in my life, I was actually kind of thinking about getting out of anchoring. I've been talking to them about coming off the weekends after 12 years and doing something else, which I haven't figured out what that was yet. So my wife and I bought this condo in Santa Monica. We're going to spend more time, and then February came and everything changed upside down. But I managed to leverage it and basically tell the folks at NBC, look, I'd like to anchor more in California. So that's why you'll often see me on Fridays anchoring out of our newsroom in Los Angeles. That turned out to be a win-win because we've actually grown in Los Angeles. It helps me make a statement to our West Coast viewers that West Coast viewers matter, that there is actually a world beyond the Hudson River, which I sometimes have to remind my colleagues of. We're making a greater effort to update our broadcast to be, more relevant in the West, so that viewers, aren't hit over the head with the fact that they're watching a 2 or 3 hour old newscast. So we're making a great effort on that. In this area, we want to make a bigger push into tech. We just moved a producer out here, a nightly news producer, and I think we're going to be stepping up our game in terms of coverage of tech stories. So you'll be seeing more of us, our correspondents in this area, working on stories. Also immigration, just the California in terms of demographics has really kind of mirrored or been the forerunner of where the rest of the country is going, and so this part of the country is becoming much more important to us, and I keep stressing that and keep reminding my colleagues that it's not out west, it's the West. And I actually flew on a real jet plane, not a wagon train to get here. It's important that everybody knows that. But anyway, I want to let you know how thrilled I am to be in this job. It is, as I kind of hinted at, is not what I aspired to. I kind of was enjoying what I was doing and whatever my new future was going to be, but this was the role I was handed. This is the one, I guess, earlier in my career I did aspire to. But now that I have it, I'm enjoying it. The advice I kept getting from people was, make it your own. And that's, it's easier said than done because it's not mine. It is a team, it's an organization. But I will say after several months in the job, it's beginning to reflect, I think, we're trying to play to my strengths, my desires. I love to get in the field. I'm not a real big fan of sitting at the desk every night. Having done weekends, I had this great life where I could, anchor in the weekends, and then during the week I'd be traveling, I'd be doing stories, I'd be, responding to the big breaking stories. And I've kind of brought management over to my way, so as you notice, when stories break, we tend to go, whether it was Oregon for the school shooting, Hungary for the migrant crisis, South Carolina for the flooding, whatever it may be, we tend to roll on it because, I like to do stories. Stories are out there. The other thing I'm trying to make sure everyone understands is that this broadcast is bigger than one person. It's we've got, I think, the best correspondents out there, and the people that put it together. It's a great team effort. I know that sounds corny and hackneyed, but it's true. And I think that the reason that we got through those rough months during all the drama was because the brand was bigger than one person. That people still understood what NBC News stood for. They recognized that what we had been through was a one-off, it was an unusual circumstance, but they understood the brand was still strong. that made my life a lot easier, that I was able to come in during that unfortunate time, and the viewers stuck with us. You guys were part of that, and you're all part of the NBC News family. You were part of it. I think everybody as an organization kept their head down during that difficult point and just did what we knew how to do, which was cover our communities and service our viewers. And so I'm incredibly proud of that. So I thank you for coming. Even if you just came for the food, it's nice to have you looking in my direction for only a few minutes. And thanks for what you do. I'm a big fan of your work. As you know, I get out here quite a bit. Not always when you see me on TV, but I am out this way. I met my wife in San Francisco. We were married here. So this place has a very special connection. So thank you for your time. And if you want to do a couple questions, I'm happy to. I don't know what our time is.
We don't have like a ton of time, but you have any questions?